Druggies,
What?
druggies, boozers, strumpets, losers, and internet thing abusers. Glorious greetings to burning metal, shooting the breeze with myself, Krusher, coming at you, definitely not live, between your steaming thighs and ears. Is that okay?
14-year-old me just shit the fucking bed, man. Man, that's just a moment that takes me back because a chance encounter with noisy mothers at an silly hour of the morning, as it was on ITV back in the day,
Yeah.
introduced me to metal music, and it's a massive, massive honor to be speaking to yourself today, man. It's just huge. Thank you very much for doing this, sir.
Oh, pleasure, mate. Pleasure.
And we're going to go back in time because I want to get shooting the breeze, so we're going to shoot the breeze here today. Back in 1970, a Deep Purple gig, followed by Black Sabbath a couple of months later, was what started the journey to being Krusher. How did from there you went into, was it art you went into then to get towards music, or how did you get about where you went to basically?
Well, basically, I mean, those two gigs. It was Deep Purple and Taste. That was in September '69, actually, and then it was, I think, March '70 was the Black Sabbath gig. And yeah, both of those were like, I want to be involved in this business, but I didn't quite know how, and then, just because the only thing I was good at was art, it was like, well, maybe that's the way to go. So, I basically went to art college I went to 2 years at art college in Hereford doing a foundation course. And then I did 3 years in London doing a Bachelor of Arts, which they failed me. And then I got a job working on the local newspaper called the South East London and Kentish Mercury, designing their adverts for them and doing their weekly cartoon and shit like that. And then I went out with this girl whose father set me up with my own studio and provided me with a bit of work. And it just went from there. I started to take my work around the record companies. And bit by bit, I got little bits of work and built up a portfolio.
And then, of course, you went from there. You joined Krang originally as a freelance worker. Is that correct? Yes.
Yeah. I worked freelance on Kerrang from, I think it was '83 to '93. As the art director, and basically, designed Kerrang for 10 years, but before Kerrang, I did a couple of. I mean, I think I'd done at least 2 album covers for Ozzy before I joined Kerrang, and maybe an album cover for Japan, and Gary Moore. So there's a lot of stuff that I've done. But yeah.
Well, you'd obviously have had to have some sort of background to get into Krang, because Krang was a big thing back in those days, like.
Well, when I joined, it was like I think I joined on issue 35. But I mean, it was a big thing. They'd gone from like a freebie, a free one-off issue with sounds, to I think it was monthly for a while, and then it went fortnightly. It was fortnightly when I joined. It was a good move. Yeah. It opened a lot of doors.
Of course, and of course we'll have to pay tribute to the Malcolm Dome himself, who passed away sadly this year.
Yeah, Malcolm. Malcolm was there, and I mean, the editor then was a guy called Alan Lewis. He's passed away as well as Pete Makowski, who was one of the great writers. But I mean, back then it was a force to be reckoned with, Kerrang. It's not like the piece of shit it is now. I wouldn't fucking wipe my arse with it. Well, you can't anyway, because it's not even a fucking magazine anymore. It's just digital, isn't it? It's on the internet.
Yeah, it's just the way it's gone. And I think Krang now has been it's been more of a pop magazine, really, as such now, isn't it? It's not doesn't really cover the traditional bands
I,
anymore.
I, I honestly don't know. All I know is that they started using my old Kerrang logo. Somebody told me they've started using my old Kerrang logo again. But I wouldn't have a clue what's in it. I didn't, I couldn't give a shit because I saw what they did to it in the 90s, and that was heartbreaking. So yeah.
Yeah, you had a big walkout in the 90s when they moved studios, didn't you?
Yeah, well, basically, it was when EMAP publishers took over, and yeah, I was the first one that they fired. It took them a year, but then shortly after that, everybody was dropping like flies because yeah, they just wanted to, they said that they weren't going to change it, but they fucking had their ideas, and yeah, they just turned it into a pile of shit.
Mm-hmm. But look at you were part of the original Krang days, and that's still beloved to this day.
Yeah,
It's
yeah,
a
yeah, yeah. Yeah, no, I was very lucky to be part of that. Yeah, yeah, no, it was an honour, definitely an honour. Yeah.
Of course, then you joined up and onto the Power Hour was a thing as well too for a while.
Yeah, when I was at Kerrang, I did Power Hour. It was Power Hour to start off with, then it became Raw Power.
Yeah.
But I didn't. I think I did a few Raw Powers towards the end of it, when because Raw Power was associated with Raw magazine, which was Kerrang's rival, and yeah, they got Phil Alexander, who was their editor, the editor of Raw, to do it. But then he left to become editor of Kerrang. So they got me back in. Yeah, it was, and from Power Hour to Raw Power, and then it became Noisy Mothers.
Mm-hmm. I think Noisy Mothers is kind of the most beloved one for a lot of people. That was really it was a great little show. Like it's a shame it was on so late, but I think everyone kind of set their video recorders to give it.
Yeah, that's right. They did. Yeah.
Yeah,
I think it went out about 3 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah, and it depended actually. In Ireland now, where I was obviously based, we had a receiver. We used to get the signal from the north.
Right.
It was never on the same time every week. It was frustrating. You'd set the VCR, and then you'd have nothing. You'd have something else completely. It was just no rhyme, no reason. But a lot of the times I got it. But
yeah, good.
Yeah, it was a grand. Was that your dog actually, Bullseye?
Yeah, that was my dog. Yeah,
that was your own dog. Yeah.
Yeah.
That was a big different time for you, and of course, and around that time too, you were heavily involved with Donington, the original Castle Donington.
Yeah, towards the end. Well, no, I designed a lot of the tour programs for Donington. I think I designed about 7 or 8 of the tour programs, and then I think it was the last 3 years, 3 or 4 years, I was the MC DJ.
Mm.
I think it was Kiss and Ozzy was headlining one. Metallica was another, and there was definitely another one that I did. There's at least 3. Mm-hmm. That was the DJ MC. Yeah. When it was a great festival and not the fucking money-making machine it is nowadays.
Yeah, I personally never got to the original Donington because it's based in Ireland, but I went to Download back in the day, and it was great before they turned it into even the early days of Download were really, really good, but now it's just it's too bloody expensive, and it's too big.
Yeah,
it's just too big. Like it's like nearly a fucking 2-mile walk from the campsite to the festival ground. Like,
yeah, it's just I don't do Download.
No. No,
I like Stone Dead Festival. That's a great little festival.
Mm-hmm.
Because they're trying to bring back the spirit of Monsters of Rock, which is what Download was before it was Download.
Mm-hmm.
So that's a great little festival, Stone Dead, definitely.
I've seen you mentioned about that before, all right, because it's more traditional kind of rock, like Cats in Space is another band, like that type of music.
Yeah, well, yeah, exactly. It's not Bloodstock, that's for sure. Yeah, but it's just bringing good old fashioned rock bands back onto for a one-day festival.
Mm-hmm.
But and they have, like, on the Friday they have a party night.
Yeah.
And then on the Saturday, they have the festival.
And it's only one stage, isn't it?
Yeah, I do that one. Yeah. I mean, I think next year they've got Michael Schenker headlining and the Wild Hearts and well, it's about 8 or 9 bands on, I think, but can't remember them off the top of my head. But yeah, hopefully I'll be there. Yeah.
Oh, good stuff, good stuff. And of course, you were at Bloodstock this year as well too.
Sorry.
You were at Bloodstock this year as well too, of course.
Yeah, I was at Bloodstock. Yeah, that was. But because I've got my foot's fucked basically, and because I hadn't done any walking for such a long time with with COVID being around, I more or less fucking overdid it on the Thursday, which is when I got up there, and I managed to do Friday, but I had to take the whole of Saturday off because my foot was just killing me. Yeah, but yeah, I think sadly that's probably be my last Bloodstock where I'll be there for more than a day. I'm thinking of going up to Bloodstock this year just to see Phil Anselmo because he's a friend of mine, and I want to hopefully introduce him. And his band, the Illegals, are going to be playing a Pantera set. So that'd be great to see. But that'll be it. I would probably just drive up, watch Phil, hang around with him for a while, and then drive back home. You know.
Yeah, so it was a long festival this year. Like it was 5 days this year. It
was 5 days. Yeah. It started on the Wednesday. I mean, there were some casualties when I got up there on the Thursday, and that was just one night.
Yeah, I think I kind of eased into it myself, but it was just, I don't know, I was just so happy to be back because it's the first time I'd seen any music in 2 years. Like, so
yeah,
I was just like I didn't really want to drink the first 2 days. I was just happy to just be seeing bands again and be in a crowd and not be stuck in the fucking house.
Oh, were you at Bloodstock?
Oh God, yeah. Oh God, it was, yeah.
Yeah,
I go every year to Bloodstock without fail. It's my favorite festival of the whole lot.
Yeah, it is. It's a brilliant festival. I've got to admit, it really is. It's a brilliant.
It's just so well organized.
Yeah, the Gregory family, they know what they're doing. They've been, it's been a family affair from day one, and yeah, I mean they're a brilliant little organisation, and well, it's not a little organisation.
Not anymore.
Yeah, but from Little Acorns it grew, definitely, because I think it was only about 600 people at the first one. I think it's about 20,000 now.
Yeah. They posted a picture of it there. Was it yesterday or the day before?
Yeah, that was good. That was amazing to see that,
yeah.
First stage, the last stage. Yeah.
The backdrop blew down in the wind on the first stage, so it was basically like a gazebo. Like now you see this massive arena stage. It's just fantastic to see. And
yeah, no, it's an incredible stage. That actually, it's huge.
Yeah, you did a few MCs at Bloodstock this year. I seen you once anyway, for definite.
Yeah, I did. I introduced the Therapy Boys. And I think I introduced the Wild Hearts. And I think I introduced someone, I can't remember who, on the Sophie stage. But yeah, that's what I go up and do a few every year. But as I say, because of my foot now, I probably won't be doing that again. So sadly.
If you only got up to see Phil Anselmo again and do that, wouldn't that be cool? Like,
yeah, no, exactly. I'm hoping Phil wants an introduction, and even if he doesn't want an introduction, I'll be going on after he's finished to get everybody to give him a good send off. Yeah,
I'm really looking forward to that myself. Like, I had tickets for Pantera, but they never got to them because they cancelled in 2001, and that was that. Then that was the end of the band.
Oh yeah, I did that one. That was sort of Tattoo the Planet. Yeah. And who was it? Slayer.
Yeah.
Slayer stepped in. Yeah, I was. Yeah, that was when that was all 2001, wasn't it? When the Two Towers came down, and Pantera pulled out because they wanted to get back to America. Basically, they were over here. They were over here, rehearsing, ready to go, and then all that shit happened, and it was they were off, which is a shame because that would have been it would have been great great to see them. Cool. That would have been the last time that you'd have got a chance to see them as well.
Yeah, because even though the Dimebag incident hadn't happened, it's still the
Yeah,
band were finished at that point anyway.
yeah, they had, yeah.
Yeah, I remember you saying before you were with them, Pantera boys, and even that there was two different buses. Like Phil had his own bus, and the three boys were off on another bus. Like,
That's yeah, Phil. Well, Phil had his back problems as well, but he also likes his boxing. So Phil had his own tour bus with his lady friend, and he had a guy called Max who was his personal trainer boxing. They used to box every day, which was great fun to watch. But yeah, Phil had. I mean, that's why Phil had real trouble with his back, and I think that's one of the reasons why they probably split up, because that was the Ozfest 2000 where they were special guests, and I think that was about 2.5 months we toured that one. And then as soon as they came off, the band insisted that they carry on touring. And Phil's back was fucked. He needed to take time off and have a serious operation to fix it. But because they insisted on carrying on, well, this is my theory anyway, because they insisted on carrying on, Phil said, fuck it. Oh, well, he did carry on for a while.
yeah.
Then when I think the pain was too much, he just said, fuck it, I'm going,
Yeah. He was heavily medicating himself, though, and not the right substances either, though.
No, well, he was on a lot of fucking painkillers, I can tell you that. I mean, I saw what he was taking every night, and that would fucking kill an elephant. But, he could function on it, he could function on it. But, yeah. But, yeah, it's sad. It's sad. But Phil, yeah, I'm still in contact with Phil and Rex. I still talk to both of them. But sadly now Dimebag and Vinny have gone, won't be talking to them again for a while.
Yeah, but of course now today is Mr. Lemmy Kilminster's anniversary. Have you got any?
6 years ago, unbelievable.
Yeah, have you any stories for about Lemmy and yourself like that you mightn't have told before?
Yeah, there's many stories about me and Lemmy, but I suppose one that quite a lot of people know this one, but I'll tell it you anyway. It's when they played Brixton. I think it was the Christmas gig at Brixton, and I was completely off my fucking face. I managed to clear the Motorhead dressing room before they'd even gone on stage, and Lemmy comes in and goes, "Where the fuck is everybody?" I said, "Oh, I think I might have upset somebody." And he said, and he just brought himself a fucking pint of fucking Jack Daniels and Coke, and he said, "Fuck off out there and watch us, and I'll see you after the show," which I did. But I was pushing my luck with trying to get a Hell's Angel to swap T-shirts with me. Wurzel basically saved my fucking life that night. But the next time I saw Lemmy, which was when I think they were playing at Hammersmith, and he was in the bar, I think it's the Duke of Cornwall at the back of the Hammersmith Odeon. He was playing the flute machine, and I went up and said, "All right, Lemmy, what are you drinking?" And he just stopped playing the fucking machine. Oh, it was pinball, I think. He stopped playing and he fucking turned around to me and said, "You fucking bastard. We had to fucking save your fucking life 3 times at Brixton because of you and your fucking stupid mouth." I said, "No, go and get me a fucking large Jack Daniels and fucking Coke and shut the fuck up." Yeah, I used to get on well with Lemmy. We had quite a few sessions together, yeah. Because I designed their tour programs from '79.
Oh, Jesus, yeah. So I've seen you before. You seem to be very tight with Wurzel.
Yeah, Wurzel was a good friend, yeah, even though he did steal my girlfriend.
Really?
But, yeah, but no, I was fucking happy about that, to be quite honest. Been wanting to get rid of her for a while. But yeah, I mean she was the reason that fucking he left Motorhead, but I won't go into all that details, but yeah. She's still alive and sadly he's not. And there's no justice in that, to be honest.
Yeah, it's you- a few years ago you had a thing called Headbangers Balls. It only lasted a while. What was the situation with that? Was it an online only thing, or was it kind of like a throwback? Or
What was it? Was it Headbangers Ball? It was something. Yeah, it was to do with testicular cancer. It was a it was a series of, yeah, it was just on the internet, and it's a series of, I think they were quite short, about 20 minutes, 15,
yeah,
20 minute shows, and it was all to build up towards a big uh, uh, gig at the end of it,
all right.
and it's all to raise awareness and money for testicular cancer.
Oh, very good. So that was
Yeah,
like I seen a couple of them, and all the bands were I didn't know them, to be honest with you. So
yeah,
they were like underground English bands at the time.
yeah, yeah. I don't think they were really big now. There's a band called Reign of Fury. And in fact, I think it was, and I can't forgive myself for forgetting his name, but it was the vocalist, I think the vocalist from Reign of Fury, who actually had testicular cancer. It was all put together by them and as I say, to make people aware of testicular cancer and raise money.
Mm.
Yeah.
Oh, very good. I never knew. I stumbled across that about a year ago, and I just didn't know what the story what it was. But so
Yeah, that was quite, but that went out quite a few years. Well, I'd say 4 or 5 years ago at least.
oh, it
Yeah.
says 8 years ago actually when I looked at it.
Hey, is it fucking hell? Hey,
Yeah, yeah.
fucking hell.
But sure, man, look at the last 2 years have been wiped from our lives. So there you go. I still think about things last year, and it's like 2 years ago.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. No, it's true. Very true. Yeah, yeah.
Well, that was when you were living out in the estate in the country when you were doing all that. Yeah, when you're doing the photography and stuff. Yeah.
That's yeah, yeah, yeah. The rock star mansion, I used to call it. Yeah, yeah. I was only in the barn next door, but yeah, yeah. That was a beautiful place, stunning. Sadly, they sold it, and I moved out. I did right. I moved in with my partner, and she's got a great place. But sadly, it's not as accessible for sunrises and sunsets, because I could just walk out the door there and basically walk 20 feet either way, and you just get the most spectacular sunrise or sunset. Whereas if I walk 20 feet either way here, I'm walking to a fucking hedge or the middle of the fucking road. You know?
Yeah, I do a bit of photography myself, but I live in a town. Like it's a small town in the west of Ireland. Like, but you can't get a proper picture. Like you have to be out in the country to really get it right.
I was a lot of people think that I'm a. All I had was a little. I think it was it's either a Canon or a Nikon. I can't remember what they're called, but they're just tiny little. I mean, this is like one of those voice recorders, but it wasn't much bloody. Well, it's about that size, to be quite honest, and maybe a little bit bigger that way. And that's all it was. Most of those pictures were just taken on that. No filters or anything. I just used to point it and click. And then someone did send me a decent camera, and I just did the same with that. I just used to point it and click, and it all seemed to work. But yeah, I miss because I saw the other. I think it was possibly Christmas Eve. There was the most spectacular sunrise. I could, even though I couldn't see the sun, but I could see the colours in the sky. A few pictures from around the country went up of that one. But yeah, I was just thinking, fuck, it's a shame I couldn't have fucking got to get a picture of that. Yeah.
So
But
you got plenty over the years to keep your backed up anyway.
yeah. I've still got loads on the computer that I haven't shown anybody. So the ones I keep putting up are just the same ones every year. But there's 365 different fucking sunrises and sunsets there. So they're still getting likes. So I'll just keep putting them up.
It's an easy way to keep in touch with people as well, too. Keep your name out there as well. Like,
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Because as people give out about social media, but for someone like yourself, I'd say it's a great tool now to keep in touch with all the load of people that you mightn't see anymore for whatever reason.
Well, yeah, I mean, I use Facebook. I think I am actually on Instagram, but I don't know. Well, I don't use it. But someone told me the other day I've got over 1,000 fucking followers on that, and I'm also on Twitter. Is it Twitter?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, but I've never fucking used Twitter. I don't even fucking know how to use it. But yeah, I mean, I just use Facebook basically. You know, that's the only one I'm any good at. I'm not, I'm not a techno head. I don't really fucking understand. As you could tell, when we're trying to start this Zoom interview, I'm not too good with the technical side of things.
Yeah, but you look at we got it working, and when technology changes so fast now. Anyway, I don't know how anyone keeps up. I'm still stuck in the past, man. Myself, I've got a laptop basically, and a phone that I don't know how to use.
Yeah, I've got a computer like that.
Yeah, the old school. And unfortunately, you got a bit of bad news at the end of the year that you've got to let's get treatment next year on prostate cancer. Unfortunately.
Yeah. Fucking November the 30th, I found out that I've got fucking aggressive prostate cancer, which is basically on a scale of 1 to 10, it's a 9. I've already started the hormone treatment, which is basically chemical castration, and I will be starting radiotherapy next March, of which I have 7 weeks, and it's Monday to Friday, fucking 5 days a week, having to go in for radiotherapy. I think I have to do 37 sessions in 7 weeks, which I'm not looking forward to because you've got kinds of side effects from that. And basically, you're just turning your fucking guts into a slow fucking microwave cooker.
Fuck.
Yeah.
That's a rough one ahead. So, man, Jesus Christ.
Yeah, it's going to be a couple of years at least of treatment, if not for the rest of my life. But they do seem to think it's curable. I mean, as I say, I was very lucky because, if I hadn't discovered it, and I only discovered it because I overdid it at Bloodstock on the Thursday, and I was pissing blood, which I normally fucking do several times a year, but that's because I drink too much and I stopped drinking for a while and the blood stopped. So, but this time it didn't. It just went on for 3 weeks. So I went to the doctor and then they sent me for some tests and this all came through. But if I hadn't gone for those tests, I would be sat here now none the wiser knowing that I've got prostate cancer because, there's nothing that would, tell me that there's a problem.
Yeah.
And it would have gone from aggressive to advanced, and that's there is no fucking cure for advanced. Yeah, they can treat it, but yeah, my days would have been fucking numbered basically. Well, my days are numbered. We're all our days are numbered from fucking day one, aren't they? But yeah. But anyway, I cope with it. Fucking, it's one of those things, isn't it? Life throws at you.
Yeah, but at least you have got the house and you've got your partner and
Yeah, I got the dogs, and I've had, you couldn't ask to do fucking, I mean, everything if I can't even think of anything that I want to put on a bucket list because I've done it all, everything you can imagine doing,
we could be here all day listing out your accomplishments, like
Yeah.
Robert Plant, Ozzy, Motorhead, Pantera, a 2 a.m. drunken interview with Bruce Dickinson over a fencing competition.
Yeah, that was at Nottingham Rock City. Yeah, fucking hell, yeah. We because Bruce, at that time, I think Bruce was close to being joining the UK Olympic fencing team. I mean, really? Bruce is an incredible fencer. I mean, he's like anything that Bruce does, he does it to the best of his abilities, and his abilities are incredible. I mean, look at him; he's now got his own airline, hasn't he? And he flies. He he writes, he's a DJ. I mean, there's nothing that Bruce can't do, to be honest.
Yeah, that was
I drove a tank with him as well. We went out for, I think it was a Noisy Mothers, actually. And we went out to some place where there's all these old tanks. And me and Bruce were sent on a mission to drive around in this tank, which was great fun.
You won't meet too many people that can tell you they were out driving tanks with Bruce Dickinson. Did you ever do any, actually, Lemmy was big into his war memorabilia. Did he ever do anything war related with Lemmy or anything like that?
No, but I'll tell you what, I've heard Lemmy, Ozzy's into it as well. Ozzy loves his war stuff, actually. Well, history, the history of war. I mean, if you get Ozzy and Lemmy sat in the same room, you'd think you've got a couple of fucking Oxford or Cambridge professors, discussing the history of war. Their knowledge is incredible of war. But no, I never did anything. Never drove a tank with Lemmy, but I went round to his place. The early days when Wurzel and Phil Campbell had joined, and they had a place that they were all living in London, and I went around there. And Lemmy used to love building his little, the Airfix aeroplanes, the war aeroplanes, and all on the ceiling, all the ones that he'd done, made and painted and stuck the transfers on. But I mean, Lemmy and Ozzy together. And people think that fucking Ozzy's, a fucking head case. He's not. He's a fucking intelligent man, Ozzy. I think a lot of that, all of that. Well, I know the shakings. That's definitely for sure. But I think all the he just does that because he just doesn't want fucking people to bother him. It's like, fucking hell, he's in state. Let's leave him alone. And that's what he wants to be. I mean, when we were on doing the Ozfest, I used to go into his dressing room and have a cup of tea with him, and he'd normally be watching the History Channel, that's for sure. And if he wasn't watching the History Channel, he'd either be listening to the Beatles or, believe it or not, Frank Sinatra.
Really? Yeah.
Yeah, he was a big Frank Sinatra fan. But those were some good times. And he was drinking tea. He was fucking off the drug. Well, he was off the illegal drugs. He was on prescribed drugs from his doctor, and drinking gallons of tea. Yeah.
Ozzy has the perception of Ozzy is probably very different, like the whole biting, thinking he bites our heads off bats and shit like that.
Well, yeah, I was around when all that fucking shit was going on, and he was off his fucking face. I mean, he was fucked up for quite a few years, and I mean, seriously off his face. His drug intake and alcohol take would fucking kill most people. Well, it would without a doubt. But because he was so used to it, he could, he built up an incredible tolerance to it.
Of course, he was a lot younger as well, too.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I see he's down to go out and tour in 2023.
That's not happen. That's not fucking going to happen.
Poor man, he's got fucking...
That actually really pisses me off because I know that that's Sharon, and sadly a lot of fucking really devoted... hang on.
Yeah.
Are you back?
Yeah, go ahead, yeah.
A lot of devoted Aussie fans who bought tickets. Well, how many was about 2 or 3 years ago? This was
5 years ago. I went on sale.
Was it 5 years ago? This was supposed to happen.
Yeah.
And it's been cancelled year after year after year.
And 2023 now.
And all of that fucking money is in a bank account, gaining fucking interest. And, Sharon still insists that it's going to go ahead. It ain't going to fucking go ahead. No fucking way. He's too... I mean, he is fucked now. He is. Generally, I think physically, he wouldn't be up for it.
Especially with the Parkinson's now on the top of everything else. Like, it's just...
Exactly. I love Aussie. I don't fucking like Sharon.
Yeah, you've made that quite clear in the past.
Yeah.
Well, she done you out a lot of money, man.
Well, yeah, she owes me some money. It was more to do with her father who owed me the money. I mean, I should have got merchandising and copyright on Diamond Madman and Speak of the Devil. And yeah, you're talking about probably about $250,000, £500,000 that I should have got. Hang on a second.
The dogs are going mad.
About that.
Oh, you're right. The old hounds of hell were in full fucking flow there anyway.
Yeah, you could hear, couldn't you? Yeah. Yeah. Somebody walking past with a dog. That's all it is.
Oh, of course. Yeah, that's what set anything like that will set them off. And at least this Christmas anyway, you didn't have to deal with a flood in your house anyway, which was a big thing compared to
No, and we've only literally we haven't got it all sorted since then. You know, that was a year, December 23rd got flooded, and we're still not 100% back to what the house was. We're about 95%, but you know, we're still not 100%. Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's horrendous. That was fucking hell.
Yeah, after all that happened. Yeah.
To be honest, the last 2 years have just been fucking horrendous, you know. Not just floods, but COVID and losing so many friends to not just COVID, but to cancer and all kinds of fucking shit. It's been, you know, hopefully 2022 will be a fucking bit better. He says, starting radiotherapy treatment for prostate cancer.
Look at man, it's treatable, so
yeah.
There's a chance. Like
I'll survive. Don't worry, I'll survive. Yeah.
You're not ready to go to the great gig in the sky just yet, anyway.
Not yet. No.
That's it. You got a partner and a house and some dogs, and I just say your bucket list is complete. We've touched on that. Like we could go on all day. So
right.
It's just about keeping the keep Krusher around for a little bit longer now and pass on some more of his stories and keep the name of metal out there, you know, encourage younger people to still be out promoting music. And
I hope so.
But there's so many people out there like that Krusher had such an influence on. I don't think there would be as big an underground music thing as there was in the last 20 years. It wasn't for like yourselves and Malcolm Dome and all the rest and Noisy Mothers. Like you were pushing bands and Noisy Mothers that were like local bands in England, like.
Yeah, no, that's very kind of you. Thank you.
No bother at all. Then I'll let you finish up with the wise words.
Okay. Till next time. Rock hard, rock heavy, rock animal.